What should people be less afraid of? Serious. Middle age. No, you don't look as good as you did 30 years ago and sometimes your body betrays you. But it is more than offset by being able to tell what's a huge freaking deal and what isn't. Getting older is better than the alternative. Asking for help. You don't have to do everything on your own, and whilst I know it's a cliche, it's okay to not be okay. No, because then I am inconveniencing other people. Other people. That hot chick guy who is barely texting you back isn't out of your league. If they treat you like you aren't important, they are showing you that they don't care enough to keep you around. There are good looking people out there who don't play mind games. That intimidatingly cool club you don't want to go in is full of people pretending to be their coolest self for approval. If you go in, you are free to do the same and play pretend along with them. That terrifying employer who yells at you is overcompensating for their own insecurities. Keep your head up and know your worth. Decent people don't need to inspire fear, and there's no need to fear crappy people who do it for their own power trip. I really needed to hear this. Thank you. Sharks. I mean, it's understandable to be afraid of them. They do kill. But what I find amusing is how we characterize them as terrifying, ruthless monsters when they are more of the victims here. An average of 10 people die from shark attacks worldwide per year, whereas freaking 100 million sharks are killed by us each year, and that's not exaggeration. Maybe we are the monsters. Quitting changing jobs. I've given so many pep talks in the past 3 years, and every single person who's taken the plunge has been relieved, reinvigorated after getting away from their unbearable situation. Death. I know people who are depressed all day, just from the thought of dying one day. I get it. No one knows what happened and that's scary, but death is one of the only things no one can avoid, so you shouldn't live in fear all your life. It's not like I'm scared of death. Before birth is probably just like how it is after death. But I just don't want to be separated from my loved ones and lose all of my cherished memories and experiences. Everything that makes me will be gone one day and I hate it. Seek for mental help. No, doctors are not going to take you to an asylum against your will. Heck, you're not going to an asylum unless you need to do a severe mental problem, and still, you aren't going to be taken against your will. No, pills won't turn you into a zombie. Some of them will help you. Think, if you break your arm, you need a cast. If you feel your mind needs certain chemical, then a pill will do that. Yes, you can count on your family and friends, and if you think you might worry them, then a doctor is perfect for that. No, doctors are not pushing you to give them money to spend them on placebos, so you have to buy MLM crap that are placebos and aren't covered by your insurance. Yes, you're an amazing person, and seeking for mental help doesn't mean you're weak or crazy. Sometimes you need a shoulder to let on, and that's okay. Snakes. They've seriously got a bad rap. They're one of the best kinds of pest control you could ask for. Will usually leave you alone unless you bother them, and unless you live in Australia, the vast majority of them are non-venomous. They just want to keep to themselves and eat rodents. Being open about using art as a form of mental health treatment. I was recommended this when I was in my teens because I was learning about having autism. Keep in mind, this was just shortly after Columbine. I was 12 at the time. I was an artsy type and draw pictures. They were rather harmless. Yet, the school system still had something with artsy kids, despite the vast majority of works by such kids were mostly limited to that. Their works. For some, it's all the venting they needed. I know a lot of students who did disturbing works but never act upon them. There was no need to intervene with anything. In fact, many mental health professionals are more likely going to recommend art treatment before anything else. It can also be a cry for help. During the Columbine shooting, the mother of one of the shooters learned serious her son was when she looked at his writings afterwards. Of course, back then, expressing that outside of the school system was hard to come by. Now, there are websites dedicated to disturbing artworks that are either accepted or got the attention that the school, forcing them to realize what is going on. In recent years, many mental health professionals actually recommend their patients to draw something that is bothering them. In any case, before they can suggest medicine, They'll need a medical team to decide after going under examinations, sometimes more than once, to check if there wasn't anything physical causing the problem. I was seen by many healthcare professionals before I was recommended for meds, including blood work. Yes, it was covered by the state, as I have state-run health insurance. They considered mental health as part of the overall system. It was as long it was considered necessary. Where I'm from, they take health earnestly. Admittedly, most have to finance their own art treatment, as most are self-medicated, which isn't necessarily a bad thing as it's cheap to get into. You can go to any store that has art supply, and that's all that is needed. Even dollar stores has this. This is helpful for those with mental health issues but has a limited income. If you play your cards right, art treatment can actually help the economy in the long term when you look at the cost of care. Standing up to the boss if they are unnecessarily cruel. Even if you get fired, you can take it higher, and even if not, nobody has the right to make you feel low because they have the power over your job. I quit mine for how I was treated and gave them a piece of my mind, and while I am finding it hard to get a new job, I'm getting by, and it's better than being put down every day. Nuclear energy. It's safe, clean, and very efficient. The only problem with it is that it's expensive, but so are a lot of other energy sources that people are fully willing to use. Snakes. They have a bad reputation because of misinformation and religion, but they really are not bad. Most bites happen because people try to kill them, putting themselves at more risk of a bite. The rest of the bites are still out of self-defense, but they can be accidentally triggered. We are like 500x bigger than them. Exaggeration. For the most part, and the last thing they want is confrontation. They have no need, nor desire to chase or bite someone. Venom takes time to be made, and they'd much rather use it on prey items than wasting it on self-defense. Honestly, spiders and tarantulas. So many people have arachnophobia. It's honestly sad. When I was in the first grade, I had to make a project about tarantulas. In my classroom, we had a live tarantula. It was giant, and most people in my class, including me then, were afraid of it. When I was done with my project, I had learned so much. Tarantulas are normally harmless, and they are more afraid of humans than we are of them. Since then, I am no longer afraid of spiders, daddy long legs, or tarantulas. Also, I still have my model tarantula. His name is King George VI. Had to scroll too far down for this answer. Spiders are really incredible little creatures. The more I learn about them, the cooler they are. I don't think I would ever keep one as a pet, but I also don't mind them hanging out in my house. Asking each other out. Ladies, you'd be amazed how guys would be if you couraged up and actually said, directly, I'd love to go out on a date with you on. Are you free? The last 5 guys I've dated, I made the move and asked them. I don't really ever remember being rejected that way, but most did think I was a catfish or had a catch, and was terrified before meeting up. Me. Also asked out my current BF. He does say a lot that I seem too good to be true or feel unreal. I feel like I am being myself, so I DK what vibe I am giving out. Snow. Not talking about crazy Donner Party old people freezing level, but just some usual seasonal snow. It's hardly ever hoard, lockdown, avoid opening the door, get in the doomsday vault stuff, practice driving on it in your neighborhood, if you need to. Yes, you have to adjust a bit and be more careful. Don't get on the road for no reason, but you aren't barricaded from going to get something important because of a dusting. My parents start freaking out a week in advance and keep tracking the weather patterns and calling family members, and then it snows a bit overnight and melts off midday, every couple weeks in winter. Terrorists. At least if you're living in the US, the number of people killed by terrorist attacks is usually single digits per year. Count them all if you like. If we had 9/11, Sandy Hook, and the Boston Marathon bombing every year, it still isn't even a blip on the radar statistically speaking. That's 3k deaths a year. You're still 10x more likely to die driving to work. Bees. When they circle you, they are just curious. Stay still and you'll be fine. Don't try and kill them. They are already dying too fast. Giving blood if you are healthy. Eat and drink plenty, and yeah, there's some discomfort, but once you get over that, you just chill for a few moments. I would, but none of my veins can handle that large needle. If I could give blood the same way blood is drawn for labs, I'd donate all the time. Death, it happens to everything, always. There is no running from it. The sooner you accept it, the easier it will be to face it when it happens around you. We all die eventually. Fixing things themselves. Things that seem complicated really aren't. You can find tutorials on just about any project or repair you would need. Human trafficking. At least not in the way people act like. No one is going to kidnap your obnoxious teenager from the Target parking lot. Throwing their vote away. If more people were willing to vote third party, we might have a chance at fixing things and getting out of the broken two-party system of bought and ancient politicians. That's what happens when the voting system sucks, but first past the post is the worst voting system ever. Even something simpler like approval voting. Vote for as many candidates as you like or none at all. Works better. If you live in a Western country, terrorists. From 1995 to 2015, there were 3,322 fatalities from terrorist attacks in the United States, 2,996 of which were victims of one attack. The war on terror has cost the United States roughly $8 trillion, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan resulted in the deaths of 6,817 Americans. So, at $2.40 billion per victim, and 2 other dead people, I'd say we were probably better off doing literally nothing after 9/11 than what we wound up doing. Nuclear energy. It has a bad rap due to Chernobyl and Fukushima. I honestly wish more people would support it. It's a clean energy. Spiders. No, seriously. Some of them are gorgeous, and very few of them are dangerous. I once had one that sat on the living room wall next to my spot on the couch and had many good convos with him. I named him Jake. Then my sister killed him. I miss Jake. The future. Embrace the present instead of worrying and make sure to go down with memories for your future self to enjoy. I'm guilty of this. Being children at heart. As long as you don't harm yourself and other people, I don't see anything wrong with liking cartoons, collecting action figures, being silly and having eccentric imagination. What other people think. You're happier and more free when you have a short mental list of whose opinions matter and which opinions of theirs you care about. When it comes to anyone outside your little circle, if you haven't done anything illegal or inconvenienced someone in any real way, what they think doesn't matter. Wildlife educator here to answer. Snakes and spiders. Seriously, most of what you hear about animals is wrong. If it makes you more afraid of it, it's even more likely to be wrong. This goes doubly so for snakes and spiders. Most of both creatures are completely harmless to humans and pets. Even the dangerous ones are often not nearly as dangerous as you've been led to believe, sometimes even by our own minds trying to reinforce that fear. No, you were not bit by a brown recluse. No, that snake did not chase you. Yes, baby snakes and spiders can control their venom. No, they are not more dangerous than adults. No, that tarantula can't jump. No, snakes aren't solitary, antisocial cannibals. In fact, many species look after their young fit months to years after birth, and some even hunt in packs or live in reverse harems. No, spiders don't bite at random. No, seriously, you did not get bit by a brown recluse. Yes, doctors are regularly misdiagnosing spider bites. Negate their training is outdated. You have an infection, not a spider bite. Get it treated. I could keep going forever. I love my job. Debunking these myths and helping people be less afraid is wonderful. But man, are adults stubborn about their myths. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.